Hi, it's Joseph Hertz. I wanted to take a couple minutes to talk to you about the importance of providing college students and young professionals with an effective methodology for the real life skills that they're going to need to be successful in every interaction for decades to come. For those of you who don't know me yet, let me start by saying I'm not a career trainer and I'm not a motivational speaker. My role is not to fire you up and tell you you can do it. Instead, I provide everyone from executive leaders to young professionals with real life effectiveness skills from my proven methodologies so they can bring effectiveness in every meeting and interaction for the rest of their lives. As a quick background, I've spent over 20 years now selling complex solutions to senior executives at some of the largest organizations in the world. I've closed an estimated $500 million in deals, and I've had the pleasure to sit in front of over 70% of America's Fortune 1000 organizations. You know, college students and recent graduates have a very special place with me, as I understand how tough it is when you're first starting out, and I wish someone would have helped me get a head start on the real life effectiveness scenarios that were ahead of me. That would have been a huge advantage for me, and I'm very passionate about providing young people with a head start on these skills that I had to learn the hard way for over 20 years. I remember starting out as an outside sales rep fresh out of college. I was provided with no training. I was assigned a sales territory, handed a pack of business cards and some brochures, and was told, best of luck to you. Although I knew nothing about sales, the industry, or really anything else at that point, I knew that I needed to go and make my mistakes, then try to learn from them and develop a solid methodology if I was going to be successful. I set a very aggressive goal for myself to schedule 3 sit-down, first-time meetings a day with brand new prospects, 15 every week. And every other Friday, I would lock myself in my office after my meetings, and I would cold call, and I wouldn't come out until I'd booked 30 meetings for the next 2 weeks. I didn't know it at the time, but this was 4 to 5 times the number of meetings my peers across the country were doing. I can tell you there's a lot of rejection in outside sales, especially as a kid fresh out of school. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't hung up on, yelled at, cussed at, called names, told no countless times. But for every no I received, every objection I failed to overcome, every mistake I made, I would write down what I did wrong. I would learn from it and adjust my approach and develop a new methodology. And one thing I can say, in scheduling and attending over 700 prospect meetings a year, in addition to several hundred with my clients, I learned very fast what to do and what not to do. And it really developed a fantastic methodology for me. So through trial and error, I mapped out and began to work on being effective at every step of the sales and meeting process. And I found that if I could define and dissect each stage, I could practice perfecting each one individually, and each day I could get better. As a result, and to my surprise, I ended up being the top producer in the country my first year. My second year, I started to have salespeople reporting to me, and I wanted to help them learn from my mistakes so they didn't have to make, again, the same mistakes over. So I started to train people that reported to me. Rather than theoretical training, I provided training that was from the eyes of someone that was in their shoes, that would prepare them for the real life skills and scenarios that they need to be successful in their role. I remember telling them, okay, these are the objections you're going to hear every day. This is what happens when you walk into someone's office and they say, have a seat. This is how to acquire information effectively out of a prospect. This is how to ask for business the right way. These are the next steps you want to ask for to make sure that you never leave yourself in what I call relationship limbo. Even though my focus remained on individually selling, within a year I was training every salesperson in the state, and not long after that, the region, and then the entire country, yet always maintaining my emphasis on individual sales production. Over the years, as I became a top producer for numerous organizations, outside companies started to ask me to help them train their salespeople. And for 15 years, I used vacation days to help dozens of companies do exactly that. Now, after 20 years, I've trained over 4,000 people in just about every industry. And I've recently left my role as a global head of sales to devote myself full-time to helping others be more successful. You know, rather than charts and graphs and theoretical models, my methodology focuses on the real-life effectiveness skills that you'll use every day and that you need to be successful in any career. It starts with the transforming of your personal introduction. This is a topic I'm very passionate about. You know, there's an epidemic in this country. People put little or no effort into introducing themselves, which is shocking to me because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. This is the first time someone meets you, and yet we tend to blow it off with a name, rank, and serial number introduction. It's not effective for you. It won't be effective for you. It's not going to get people to buy into you. It's not going to get people leaning forward in their chair, wanting to work with you or get to know you. And it's not going to differentiate you in any way. In fact, that name, rank, and serial number introduction is a huge missed opportunity. I'll show you my 7 components of a compelling, engaging, and effective introduction. And I'll help each of you create your personal introduction and deliver it flawlessly in any setting so that you'll be differentiated, you'll get buy-in, trust, and likability right from the start of every interaction. I'm also going to show you a powerful technique for overcoming every objection you'll ever hear in any profession, without canned answers or scripts. To me, the definition of real power, regardless of your profession, is to be able to welcome every objection in life and effortlessly overcome it. I'll also define and teach you every step of a meeting and interactively help you navigate through each one. You'll understand the important benefit and expectations of each, and most importantly, perfect every step so that you can be successful in every interaction. I'll show you how to effectively orchestrate and take command of a meeting. I'll show you how to persuade others. I'll show you how to master the art of effectively extracting information out of people the right way, without sounding like you're taking a poll or a survey with a lot of task information. I'll make sure you understand the right technique of how to ask for what you want and the right time to do it. I'll also teach you the importance of never leaving a meeting or any interaction without a quantitative next step. And for the record, call me in a couple weeks. I'll reach out after I've reviewed the proposal. Send me an email. Let's grab lunch next month are not next steps. I'll teach you my 5 components that define a real next step. And I'll ensure you never leave a meeting, a call, or any interaction without one again. These are just a few of the methodologies that I found are vital to bringing effectiveness and success into every interaction. They're the difference between success and falling short of your goals. You know, one of the chapters in my book, I talk about there's not that much difference between good and great. And following a methodology is a way to bridge that gap very quickly. You know, in any profession and any industry, you have to differentiate yourself. You have to know how to make the transition with time from someone just starting out to eventually a trusted business advisor. And I can tell you, after thousands of cold calls, meetings, presentations, and negotiations with some of the most demanding executives in the world, I was constantly being evaluated every second I was in front of them, every day for over 20 years. So it forced me to create an effective methodology or I wasn't going to be successful. One of the things I teach college students and recent graduates is that in any profession, work ethic and ambition are vital attributes, but they can only take you so far. And one of the biggest observations I've made in the last few decades is that most people in any industry don't really prepare for the most important meetings in their life. They don't practice, and they don't have an effective methodology to apply to every meeting or interaction. To me, it's impossible to be successful without one. I found people show up to job interviews, important presentations, and vital meetings without a plan, and they basically wing it. I can't stress enough to you, this is not a recipe for success. And I'll help you by providing a roadmap to make sure you're prepared for every important meeting and every interaction in your career. You must have a methodology. You must practice it, and you have to apply it. And you must learn from your mistakes, or you can't expect to be successful in any profession. How many people out there can tell me the 3 biggest choices that a person makes in his or her life that will ultimately determine your level of happiness? They're in order: who we go through life with, where we live, and what you do for a living. Surprisingly, young adults leaving college that are entering what we call the real world don't spend a lot of time really thinking about the magnitude of these decisions. You know, one of the things I help people do is visualize, actualize, and attain real happiness and real satisfaction in every aspect of their lives. You know, it's funny, I've seen 1 million books written on how to help people succeed in business, and I help people do that myself. But one of the things that shocks me is that people spend such a little time really putting effort into where their euphoric destination is, where they're going to live. And the shocking part is it might bring in the long run more happiness, more contentment, more fulfillment, and more amazing memories than any other decision that they'll make. Students are being guided by parents, friends, professors, and other students about who the best employers are in the area, where their skills would fit best, or what kind of industry makes the most sense. But how many people have really talked to them about being effective in every interaction, giving thought and insight into how to have an amazing life in all aspects? I remember in the months leading up to my graduation, a lot of people were talking to me about what I should do and how my marketing degree might apply best to specific professions. But one thing no one was talking to me about was how to attain an amazing life in all aspects. And I wish someone would have helped me create a roadmap to success, not just professionally, but in all aspects of life. You know, I had a young lady recently email me, and she said, "Hey, I just want to tell you, after I heard you speak at the university, I had to reach out to thank you." Then she said, "Because of you, I broke up with my boyfriend." I thought, well, that's not really the way I'd like to be known, but I kept reading. She said, "I was going to stay in the city that the university was located and not take the job opportunity I had in California. I was doing this out of what I thought was loyalty to my boyfriend, who still has another year before graduation. And I want to thank you for opening my eyes to the fact that the 3 biggest decisions that I'll make in my life that will determine my level of happiness, I haven't even made them yet. And they're going to set me up for success. And they're going to determine the direction and the overall happiness of my life." She said, "You've inspired me because I have yet to make any of these decisions, and I need to choose them very wisely." Few people are actually helping college-age young adults develop the real life skills that are going to help attain an extraordinary life in all areas. And I'm not talking about classes with charts and theoretical models or people directing you to one company or one industry. And I'm not talking about motivational speakers that are going to get you fired up and tell you you can do it, believe in yourself at the time, but then leave you feeling unprepared when you're across the table or the desk from that key person. I'm talking about real life skills that are going to help you land a much better job and excel in that job much faster than your peers. Skills that even the most experienced executives struggle with. Skills like how to effectively introduce yourself, how to set the table and take command of a meeting, how to overcome any objection in any setting, how to extract information out of someone the right way and at the right time, how to ask for what you want, and the importance of never leaving a meeting or any interaction without a quantitative next step. You know, you as an administrator or a professor or leader in a higher education institution, how many of you out there have ever had someone sit down with you and show you all the components that make up a compelling and engaging introduction? I'm talking about a first impression that gets people leaning forward in their chair, gets them excited about you and your next sentence, gets them thinking to themselves, wow, I'm really impressed. This person's exactly what I've been looking for. That's what I'll help these students do. This applies to a prospective employer, a prospective client, someone they may want to date, someone they may want to be friends with, a prospective investment partner, their next group of students, whatever it is. Has anyone ever provided you a format or guideline on that sequence, the content and delivery of a great introduction? You know, it's funny, I've been in front of presidents and CEOs of huge corporations and some of the most influential executives in the country. And you know what? One of the things they pay me thousands of dollars to do is to help them and their executive teams learn and master the art of an effective personal introduction, or how to be effective and compelling in every meeting, or how to ask for what you want. You know, I provide college students and recent graduates a major head start to learning these skills that even some of the top executives in the world struggle with. I can customize my delivery as well. This methodology applies to any audience size, whether it be a large auditorium with hundreds of students or soon-to-be graduates, or in groups as small as 10 with more of an emphasis on interactive role-playing. Either way, I'll provide them with real-life effectiveness tools and set them up to achieve success in every interaction in their lives for decades to come. If you're someone at a university or college that's in a position to, or has the responsibility to, prepare students for success in their lives, I offer effectiveness training on real-life skills that these graduates will need every day to face the challenges that lie ahead in the business world, in their professional lives, and in their personal lives. I want to thank you for your time and invite you to let me provide your students with the vital skills that will greatly improve their chances of success in every facet of their lives for many years to come. I ask to be evaluated not on if I entertained your students or put on a good show, but rather on your increased number of graduates that are now able to bring true effectiveness into every conversation, and how many go on to be the future leaders of the next generation. I look forward to great success together.